Hey there, food lovers. Ever wondered if you should parboil your rice before cooking? Or maybe you're just curious about what the heck parboiling even means? Well, don't worry, because today we're diving into all things parboiled rice, why it's great for your meals, its health benefits, and why you might want to consider giving it a try. Stick around because at the end of this, I've got a juicy bonus tip that'll take your cooking to the next level. All right, first things first. What exactly is parboiling? It's a cooking method where rice is partially boiled in water before being cooked fully. Think of it as a pre-game for your rice. The process softens it just enough to make sure it cooks more evenly and absorbs flavors better when it's finished. Sounds simple, right? Well, trust me, it's even simpler than it sounds and totally worth the extra step. So, when should you parboil your rice? Let's break it down. If you're making dishes like fried rice, jollof rice, or even biryani, parboiling is your best friend. Why? Because it helps the rice absorb all those amazing flavors without getting soggy or mushy. The grains stay separate and nice and fluffy, which is exactly what you want, especially if you're dealing with those super flavorful dishes that need perfect rice. You don't want clumpy, sticky rice to ruin your masterpiece, do you? Now, if you're just looking to make a simple, no-frills pot of steamed rice, you can totally skip the parboiling. Most recipes are designed for uncooked rice to cook straight from the pot, no extra steps needed. So don't stress about parboiling if you just want plain rice for your stir-fry or as a side dish to accompany your meal. Here's a neat little tip. If your rice is a bit older or on the tougher side, parboiling can help soften it up. It's especially helpful if you're using long grain rice or rice that's been sitting on the shelf for a while. Parboiling ensures the grains cook evenly so you're not left with crunchy bits. You want that perfect texture, right? Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do you actually parboil rice? It's easy, I promise. First, rinse your rice thoroughly to remove excess starch. Then, bring a pot of water to a boil and add your rice. Let it cook for about 5 to 7 minutes, just enough for the grains to soften a little. Don't cook it all the way through, though. You want it to still be firm to the bite. Once that's done, drain the water and let the rice sit for a minute. That's it, parboiling in a nutshell. Now, let's talk health benefits, because honestly, this is one of the main reasons people turn to parboiled rice. One big benefit is that it retains more nutrients than regular white rice. When rice is parboiled, the water-soluble vitamins and minerals, like B vitamins and magnesium, actually seep into the grain. This means you're getting more nutrition with every bite. So, not only does parboiled rice taste good, it's good for you too. Another awesome thing about parboiling is that it helps reduce starch content. Yes, you heard that right. Parboiling actually makes the rice lower in starch. So if you're trying to cut back on those extra carbs, this is a smart move. Not only will it make your rice more digestible, but it also helps reduce the overall calorie count. Bonus. Speaking of digestibility, parboiled rice is a gentler option for people with sensitive stomachs. The parboiling process breaks down some of the starch, making the rice easier on your digestive system. So, if you've got a sensitive tummy or struggle with bloating, parboiled rice might be your new best friend. Trust me, your stomach will thank you. Oh, and here's a big one. Parboiling can help reduce arsenic levels in rice. If you didn't know, arsenic is a naturally occurring substance in some soil and water, and it can sometimes be found in rice. But don't worry, parboiling helps reduce arsenic levels. So if you're concerned about that, parboiling is a good way to make sure your rice is as safe as possible. And wait, there's more. Parboiled rice has a much lower glycemic index than regular white rice. What does that mean for you? It means your blood sugar levels won't spike as quickly after eating. This is especially important for anyone who has diabetes or is trying to maintain stable energy levels throughout the day. So, if you've been looking for a healthier alternative to regular rice, parboiled rice is a great option. All right, all right, I know this all sounds great, but what about the drawbacks? Let's talk about that for a second. One thing to keep in mind is that parboiling can lead to a slight loss of some nutrients, especially if you toss out the water. If you're making a dish where you want to keep all the nutrients, Make sure you use that water for your cooking, like for a soup or stew. But don't worry, the benefits far outweigh this tiny downside. And let's not forget, parboiling takes a bit of time. It's an extra step, and if you're in a rush or just need a quick meal, you might not feel like doing it. But here's the thing, good things come to those who wait. A little extra effort now means a lot of flavor and nutrition later. It's worth it, trust me. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever had mushy rice? It's the worst, right? Parboiling can help prevent that. By parboiling your rice first, you're essentially giving it a head start so it cooks evenly and doesn't get all soggy and sticky. Whether you're making a big pot of rice or just a small batch, you want it to be fluffy and separate, and parboiling guarantees that. So, you might be wondering, can I parboil any rice? And the answer is yes. Parboiling works with all kinds of rice, long grain, medium grain, even brown rice. So no matter what you're cooking, parboiling is a technique you can use to make your rice better. Whether you're serving it as a side or making it the star of the show, parboiled rice is the way to go. And here's a fun fact. Parboiling is actually a traditional method in many cultures. It's been around for centuries because it works. It's a great way to make rice healthier and tastier. So next time you're cooking, you'll know you're using a technique that's been trusted for generations. Now, we're almost done, but I've got one last tip for you, and you won't want to miss it. Ready? Here's the bonus tip. You can actually flavor your rice while you're parboiling it. That's right. Throw in a bay leaf, a cinnamon stick, or a clove of garlic while it boils, and your rice will absorb those flavors. It's an easy way to add a little extra something to your rice without much effort. Try it out, and you'll thank me later. All right, we've covered a lot today, and I'd love to hear from you. Do you like parboiled rice? Why or why not? Drop a comment below, and let's chat about it. And if you're thinking, rice is great, but where's my pizza? Well, don't worry. You can always substitute your meals with something you love. Pizza, anyone? Check out the link in the description for an amazing pizza recipe video that you won't want to miss. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our future tasty tips and tricks. Take a moment now to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll wait. All right, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy cooking.